3 historic medicines are in the works with medical historian Jennifer Bolton. Find out about methods, ingredients, and the apothecary trade. First up, a receipt for aromatic powder.
So we are in a recreation of Jonathan Potts's apothecary shop in Reading, Pennsylvania. And under normal circumstances, he most likely had a laboratory in which he compounded these medicines. We are making an aromatic powder, and this is medicine that again was in William Lewis's 1765 edition of the New Dispensatory. There's 2 different versions of this medicine, as it often is with this book. There's a London version and an Edinburgh version, and they're fairly similar. So, aromatic powder, it was said to warm the stomach, promote digestion, and strengthen the tone of the viscera in general. And some of the primary ingredients with this is cardamom seed. Cardamom was something that would give a medicine a good scent. It would smell good, but it would also taste good because they don't want their medicines to taste nasty if they can help it, just like today. Ginger was another main ingredient. Some viewers might remember their parents giving them ginger ale when they had an upset tummy, nausea and the like. And also nutmeg, which historically has been used as a medicine for diarrheas and dysenteries and was used as such in the 18th century as well during Jonathan Potts's time. So we're going to be making the Edinburgh version, which calls for equal parts of ground cardamom, ground ginger, and ground nutmeg. So we have some cardamom seed already in this marble mortar and pestle, or marble mortar rather, and we're just going to grind that up here until it's a really fine powder. The medicines that Dr. Jonathan Potts would have acquired, the ones that he's compounding, they're going to be imported, and they're coming from all over the world. And nutmeg originates in the East Indies, so that's half a world away. And unfortunately, it's got a fairly bloody history because in the 17th century, the Dutch wanted a monopoly on that trade, and there was a fair amount of bloodshed as a result. But at one point, it was only grown on one island. So because these different ingredients, whether they were plant-based, animal-based, or mineral, because they're coming from all over the world, whenever a druggist or an apothecary got in a new shipment, they were often advertising in the newspapers that this just in, and we have the freshest of ingredients. But how fresh is it really when it's coming from all over the world? And prior to the American Revolutionary War with the Navigation Acts, this stuff had to be funneled through Great Britain first because they wanted to cut the profits. So we're finding through making these recipes, these receipts, that ginger, for instance, what they would have been working with was fairly all dried up. It wouldn't have been necessarily fresh. And for this recipe, it works out because you have to have it dried in order to grind it effectively. So the medicine that we just made was the Edinburgh version. However, the London version calls for cinnamon, 2 ounces of cinnamon, and then 1 ounce of cardamom seed, ginger, and then long pepper, 1 ounce each of the latter 3. And this long pepper is fantastic. It comes from the East Indies as well, but it was more highly esteemed than the black peppercorns we use this day, though I understand that it's more difficult to grind in our grinders because of its unusual shape here. But it's got a nice flavor to it. So through the magic of film, here's the final product. They probably would have added this to a drink and taken the medicine that way. I just want to make cookies with it, but it smells really nice. Don't try this at home. Seriously, folks, just go to your doctor. We have here a simple ointment, which goes by the name of unguentum simplex as well. Latin was the standard language of medicine at this time, and if you look at William Lewis's dispensatory, it's going to have the Latin name as well as the English version. The receipt or recipe for this medicine is fairly straightforward. What you want to do is you beat lard with rose water, otherwise known as aqua rosarum. Now, I'm sure I'm butchering that for you Latin folks out there, my apologies. But you beat that together and then you heat it over a fire. You let it set for some time and then you pour the lard from the water and you add some lemon essence into that. And the smell for this is really quite nice when you first make it. However, it does subside over time. Technically, you could use this for your hands, though, given the fact that it's using pig fat, I'm sure most of you would probably prefer to go to the store and buy your salve there. But in any case, fairly easy to do. This one's in a gallipot, which is an 18th century container that they would have used for medicines at the time. The next medicine we're going to make is a synapism. We've had some fun trying to say that here today. But this is a cataplasm, which is a kind of a poultice, if you will, that was used as a stimulant. And it could potentially, according to the instructions, raise blisters. It was used to raise the pulse and relieve issues with the head. And the way they would do that sometimes is to actually apply it to the soles of the feet. We have here breadcrumbs, mustard seed, and enough vinegar that deemed sufficient for this, and then a little bit of bruised garlic. We have our synapism here. As I mentioned earlier, this could be applied to the soles of the feet to raise the pulse and alleviate the head. But to be honest, I just really want to put it on a chicken and cook it at 350, bake it at 350.
Pottsgrove Manor is a proud part of the County of Montgomery's Division of Parks, Trails, and Historic Sites. Uncover more about the social and medical world of Dr. Jonathan Potts with our digital exhibit companion, linked in the description box below. Our thanks to Jennifer Bolton for her insight and knowledge during this project.